What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I want to talk about the players the Atlanta Falcons should re-sign this offseason and players that they should let go in this offseason. So if you're new to the channel, as always, please like, please share, please subscribe to the channel. Let's continue to grow this page. As always, I appreciate every single one of you guys who view these videos and who continue to support the channel. If you would like to donate to the channel, you always can go to the Cash App. It'll be the $, Jew Talk Sports. And then if you would like to follow your boy on Twitter, it'll be at Jew Talk Sports. But as always, let's jump right into the video. So the players that I want to start with that we should re-sign is Austin Hooper. I do believe we should bring Austin Hooper back if we can. If we can't re-sign Austin Hooper, I would seriously suggest franchise tagging Austin Hooper. Austin Hooper plays a huge role on this Atlanta Falcons team. I don't think a lot of the fans or a lot of the NFL realize how big of a player or how important a piece Austin Hooper is to the Atlanta Falcons. He is a huge mismatch or a huge problem for defenses when you're game planning. Most of the time it's a linebacker trying to guard him or a safety, or even he's even a matchup for DBs because he's so tall and big and he can post those guys up, and he's huge for the Falcons on third down. I don't think a lot of people realize when we lost Mohamed Sanu in that trade with the Patriots, but Mohamed Sanu was the guy that moved the chains on third down, like in third and shorts and third and fives. He was the guy that we used in the slot to, break open and make a catch or body up against a player and be that possession receiver that we needed, because most of the time on third down, Julio Jones is being double covered or sometimes triple covered. And sometimes it's hard to get the ball to the outside, to one of your outside weapons on third down. So you have to be able to control the middle of the field. The middle of the field is where a lot of teams make their money, or, that's a lot of teams use that like as their bread and butter. You see with the New England Patriots how big it was of losing Rob Gronkowski this year. You see with them losing him how big of a weapon he was for their team. And it's kind of similar with Austin Hooper. I'm not saying Austin Hooper is Rob Gronkowski, because Gronkowski was probably arguably, he's one of the greatest tight ends ever, but he was arguably the #1 tight end in the game for years and years and years. Probably over his career, he was the #1 tight end out there. And New England, loves to throw the ball to their tight ends and loves to run the football. So, and they love throwing to the slot receivers like a Julian Edelman and a Wes Welker. But in the lesser role, Austin Hooper is still a very important piece for this team. He is the security blanket to Matt Ryan, or for Matt Ryan. Him and Matt Ryan spent, I think, a whole summer together where he stayed at Matt Ryan's home, and Matt Ryan and him worked on different routes and stuff like that. So they have great rapport, and that's not something in chemistry. That's not something that just grows on trees. It's not as easy just to build chemistry. Like if we were to draft the tight end, or if we were to just move Jaden Graham to the starting tight end, it takes time to build that rapport. It takes time for the tight end to learn how to sit down in coverages, like if they're in the zone, how to find that soft spot, how to sit down in the coverage, how to break open. And it takes time for the quarterback, like a Matt Ryan, to trust, even when it looks like a player is covered, to throw him the ball. Because this year you've seen a lot of the times, especially after we lost Mohamed Sanu, Hooper played a huge role in being able to move the chains for our team. Him and Russell Gage. Russell Gage really stepped up and became that good slot wide receiver that we needed. But I believe Austin Hooper is still somebody that is a vital piece to this team, especially in the red zone. Like when the field gets condensed, tight ends are very, very important when you're in the red zone, of being able to throw the ball to that big target, a player that can body up against a defender, turn their back and post up like a center to grab a rebound. And that was something that Tony Gonzalez was great at. Jason Witten for the Dallas Cowboys has been great at doing that. And that's something that Austin Hooper has learned to do, playing with Matt Ryan and playing over his career in the NFL. He's done a great job of learning how to use his body and catching the ball at its highest point. Hooper has done an excellent job at learning how to do that. So I feel like Austin Hooper is a huge piece to this Atlanta Falcons team. and I would love to bring Austin Hooper back. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to pay him, but what I would do if we can't re-sign him, I would definitely, like I said, place the franchise tag on him until we can restructure some contracts and we can create space, just like we had to do with Grady Jarrett last year. They really wanted to get Grady signed, but they didn't have they were trying to finagle the funds because they had to pay him and Julio Jones. So they kind of had to finagle some things. They had to finagle some things to try to get, try to create some cap space to be able to pay Julio Jones that guaranteed money and also give Grady his money. So I believe it's a way that they could finagle the salary cap to get Austin Hooper paid. If not, I definitely would, like I said, just franchise tag him. If we only can keep him for at least one more season, I definitely would look at keeping him for at least one more season where Jaden Graham can continue to be groomed and learn up under him, and maybe Jaden Graham can take that next step. Because from what I'm hearing, this year's tight end class in the draft is not that good. So being that the draft, they're saying that the draft picks and the tight ends it's not a lot of talent out there. I definitely would suggest bringing Austin Hooper back if we can. Now, so that's the first player I would try to re-sign or a franchise tag. Now, the next player is Vic Beasley. I did make a whole video about Vic Beasley. If you want to check out the video of like, should we re-sign him or not? And I talked about Vic Beasley. So I'm not going to talk too much about Vic Beasley, but I'll just say in this video, I believe that we should bring Vic Beasley back. And I don't think it's going to be too expensive to re-sign Vic Beasley. And the reason I say I would bring Vic Beasley back is because Vic Beasley has proven that he's the best pass rusher on our team. Other than Grady Jarrett, if you're talking about any of the defensive ends on the team, Vic Beasley is definitely the best pass rusher that we have on this team. He's better than Tat McKinley. He's better than the John Kaminsky's and all the guys that we've had in the rotation. Now, Adrian Claiborne is a veteran guy, but I still would say Vic Beasley is a better player than Adrian Claiborne, just for the mere fact that Adrian Claiborne is not as versatile. You can use Vic Beasley as a linebacker. You can use him as a pass rusher. You can use him as a quarterback spy. It's a lot of different things that Vic Beasley can do with his athleticism. So I definitely would re-sign Vic Beasley and bring him back. I do think that he's another key piece to this team, and you can never have enough pass rushers. So I'm thinking that if I was a GM, I would definitely re-sign Vic Beasley to like a 4-year deal, 3 or 4 year deal. And then I also would still draft an edge rusher. Just because you bring back Vic Beasley doesn't mean you don't need to address that defensive end position. I still would draft that defensive end position just as an insurance policy, because Tat McKinley seems that he can't stay healthy. He seems to always get hurt at some point during the season. So I definitely would keep Vic Beasley, re-sign him to a new deal, and then I would draft another guy like a AJ Espinoza, or one of the edge rushers that's out there. Now, one thing that I like about AJ Espinoza is he's a guy that you also can use on the inside, meaning like at the nose position or on the inside of the pass rush. Kind of how we use Adrian Claiborne sometimes, because he weighs about 280 pounds and he's about 6'6", so he's a big guy. So you can use him on the inside, and you can use him as an interchangeable piece, kind of like you do Vic Beasley, where AJ Espinoza can also play multiple positions. So I definitely would still bring Vic Beasley back, and I would still draft a guy, because we never know with Tat McKinley. To be honest, if it was up to letting one of the guys go, meaning Tat McKinley or Vic Beasley, like in the future, I would re-sign Vic Beasley, and I don't know if I would pick up Tat McKinley's 5th-year option. I know that's something that we have to make a decision on, but personally, I don't think I would pick up his 5th-year option. I would make Tat McKinley play under fire, meaning I would let him play this last year out under contract and make it be a prove it year, or a prove it year for him. And then after that, I would decide on whether we're going to re-sign him or what we're going to do moving forward. But if we re-sign Vic Beasley this year, don't sign that 5th-year option for Tat. So just keep him for this one more year to let it be a prove it year, and then draft a rookie edge rusher like a AJ Espinoza. He may end up taking Tat McKinley's role, meaning if we don't sign that 5th-year option on Tat McKinley, he may end up taking that other role, and then we'll just let Tat McKinley walk in free agency next year. But one thing I can say about Vic Beasley is, as much as we criticize Vic Beasley, I feel like Pat McKinley deserves more of that criticism that Vic Beasley gets, because at least with Vic Beasley, he's proved it to us that he has the qualities of being an excellent pass rusher. He did lead the league the year we went to the Super Bowl with 15 and a half sacks. He did lead the whole league in sacks. So to me, he's done a lot more over his career than Pat McKinley has done. And he's kind of proven it to us that he's the better of the two players. Pat McKinley hasn't shown me anything that would tell me that he's a better player than Vic Beasley, or he deserves to get a long-term deal over Vic Beasley. So that's why I stand on Vic Beasley. I definitely think he should be re-signed this offseason, and I believe he will be re-signed this offseason. Now, a couple other players that's out there that's on the lighter road, that's not huge components to this team, but they're players that's like role players that I would look at bringing back. Adrian Claiborne is the next guy I want to talk about. I would definitely bring back Adrian Claiborne. I love what he brings to the table as far as a pass rusher. He's another guy that's versatile, where you can use him on the inside or outside. He does only rush from one side, but that's fine with me because he has pass rush moves. He's a leader in the locker room, and he continues to encourage and try to help the younger guys develop. So we are to bring in an AJE or AJ Espinoza. He'll be a good teacher, a good mentor to these young guys that we're still trying to develop. I think Adrian Claiborne is one of those guys that can teach these dudes how to use their hands, especially with Vic Beasley. If we sign him to that long-term deal, I really think that Adrian Claiborne could play a big role in being a mentor and being a locker room leader, because he's already one of the leaders in the locker room and one of the veteran guys. And every team needs that veteran, that veteran presence. And I feel like Adrian Claiborne brings that veteran presence, and he doesn't cost a lot of money. He's not an expensive player. Usually when we bring him back, it's only like on the veterans minimum, $2 million, $3 million, for a 1 year deal, something like that, 1 or 2 year deal. So I definitely would look at bringing Adrian Claiborne back. He's another guy that's a bona fide pass rusher. He's a guy that creates pressure. And I think that if we kept him, we could run like a NASCAR type of package, like on third downs, where we can bring a lot of pressure, meaning kind of like how the New York Giants, when they had Michael Strahan, O.C. Umenyiora, Justin Tuck, when they had all of those pass rushers, and they were able to get out the quarterbacks like they got out the Tom Brady in the Super Bowl with the New York Giants. I feel like if we go get AJE, we could really run like a NASCAR type of third down blitz package, or let all of those guys go get the quarterback, especially if we play with the lead. We can have Vic Beasley, AJE, or AJ Expensia, Adrian Claiborne, and Grady Jarrett, like something like that, where it's a bunch of guys, coming downhill and putting a lot of pressure on a quarterback and on the opposing offense. So I really think that if we double dip, or if we go in, we re-sign Vic Beasley and bring in like an AJE, we really could create some havoc up front with our pass rush and with our defensive line. But what I was saying about Adrian Claiborne, I definitely would bring him back. Like I said, he brings that leadership component, and he still showed the ability to bring pass rush. You seen him in that New Orleans Saints game. He played a huge role in helping all of those guys, and he was one of the guys that got a sack in that game. So Adrian Claiborne has always been a solid pass rusher. So I definitely think that he is another guy that we should definitely consider bringing back. In the middle, at the nose position, I would definitely bring back Tyler Davison. Tyler Davison is an excellent player as well. A great guy in stopping the run and helping stop the run. So I definitely would bring him back as well. Very stout. He's not really a pass rusher, but he's a good plugger in the middle. And you always need that player next to Grady Jarrett, or another guy that's like a plugger that can help stop the run, can help push the pocket, and help create havoc so the edge rushers can do their thing on the outside. So he takes on a lot of double teams. Him and Grady Jarrett, Tyler Davison takes on a lot of double teams. Excuse me. And I was very impressed with what I seen out of Tyler Davison this year. With his first year being an Atlanta Falcon, he did a good job of mucking things up in the middle and playing very aggressive and getting after the opposing running backs and quarterbacks, playing in the backfield. So he did a pretty good job, and I like what he brought to the table. Now, going to another player that I think that we should let walk in free agency is Allen Bailey. I was not impressed with Allen Bailey this past season. The defensive tackle slash defensive end that we brought in from the Kansas City Chiefs. I didn't like what I seen out of him. He only had a few games where he played well. To me, he was very inconsistent. I didn't see enough pressure by him when he was playing the nose position or on the outside. The only thing I can say about Allen Bailey positive, really, is I did see him in the run game when they stopped playing Vic Beasley on first and second downs. He did do a good job of setting the edge, like in the run game, where he would force running backs back to the inside. He wouldn't allow them to run outside. And I think he did a good job of setting the edge and being physical that way. But I didn't really see him jump off the screen like I like to see players jump off the screen and be more physical. To me, he didn't really jump off the screen to me. He was just an average or below average player. And I think that he's one of the players that we should let walk in free agency. I don't think we should bring him back. Another player that's a free agent that I consider kind of a role player that I think we should bring back is Bleedy Ray Wilson. Bleedy Ray Wilson did play well for the Atlanta Falcons, especially down the stretch. In that 49ers game, it was a couple games where he really flashed. He played very well in that 49ers game and down the stretch in the Saints game. A lot of the games where he actually started to get significant snaps. When Desmond Trufant went down with injury, Bleedy Way is an excellent guy that you can use for depth. He plays with excellent technique. He doesn't get a lot of penalties, and he always gets his hands on the football. He didn't intercept any passes, I don't believe, but he did have some key bat downs or knockdowns where he batted or deflected passes. I know a key one was when he was lined up against George Kittle in the end zone in that 49ers game, and he was able to get his hands on the ball. It was another route that he jumped in front of the wide receiver and almost had an interception. So he played very well, a solid tackler. Like I said, excellent technique. Plays with excellent technique. Doesn't get beat a lot. Not the fastest player, but he's a solid fourth string cornerback. So I definitely would keep him on the team, and he shouldn't be too expensive to keep around. So he's definitely a guy that I will also keep in free agency. Another guy that I would like to mention is Jack Crawford. He's another guy that's a free agent. He's another player like a Allen Bailey that he was just way too inconsistent for me this year. To me, he had a better 2018 season playing the nose and creating havoc. This year, to me, he played way too passive. I didn't like what I saw out of Jack Crawford. I thought he did well in 2018, and I thought he would pick it up in 2019 and play even better. But he didn't play better. To me, he played worse in 2019. Jack Crawford, he's a versatile guy. He's a guy who can play inside and outside, but I didn't like what I seen out of him. He was being blocked, failing to penetrate, and I didn't see a lot of aggression out of him. I don't think he will be worth the money, and I think you can go in the free agency or in the draft and allow somebody to take his role, or maybe even like a John Kaminsky that we have that's a up-and-coming player on our team. I think John Kaminsky can play the role that Allen Bailey was playing or that Crawford was playing, that Jack Crawford was playing. So I think he's a guy that we can let go. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if Deidre Sanat is still signed to the Falcons. I don't know if he's a free agent too. But if he's not a free agent, I really think Deidre Sanat is a better player than Jack Crawford and Allen Bailey. To me, he just didn't get the opportunities last year. But when he did get the opportunity to play, I kind of like what I saw out of Deidre Sanat. He played with more aggression, and he got, he penetrated better in the backfield in the run game, and he created some push in the pocket where I didn't see that out of Allen Bailey enough, and I didn't see that out of Jack Crawford. So I would let both of those guys, Bailey and Crawford, I would let both of those guys walk in free agency. And pretty much, I think that's pretty much about it on the defensive side of the ball as far as the free agents that's still out there. And players I think we should re-sign. So the guys that I suggest that we re-sign, just the recap, is Vic Beasley. I would look at re-signing him to a long-term deal. Austin Hooper, I would look at either a long-term deal or franchise tagging him. I would bring back Bleedy Ray Wilson. I would bring him back on a short deal. I would bring back Adrian Claiborne as like that rotational piece that we can use to get after quarterbacks and play a little bit of that nose position. And, he can play inside and outside. And like I said, Alan Bailey, I would let that guy walk. I would let Jack Crawford walk. But the guys that I named, I would keep those guys that I named. So that's about it for this video. Tell me what you think about in the comments about the players I said I would keep, the players I said I would let go. Please like, please share, please subscribe as always. But this been your boy Jew. I appreciate all of you guys. I'll have another video for you guys probably maybe a little bit later this week or maybe this weekend. I might do another video if I have something to talk about. If not, it'll be early next week. But I'm going to try to put out as much content, like I said, as possible for you guys. I do love talking about our Atlanta Falcons. Drop any questions you would like to ask in the comment section. But I appreciate all of you guys continuing to follow the channel, continuing to support the channel. But as I said before, as Atlanta Falcons, you already know what we do. We rise up. This been your boy Jew. If you would like to follow your boy on Twitter, you can go to your Twitter page and this at Jew Talk Sports. You can follow your boy, and I usually will follow back. And also, if you would like to donate to the channel, it'll be the Cash App $ Jew Talk Sports. But with that being said, this been your boy Jew. I'll holler at y'all in the next video. All right, peace.